Hey everybody, it's me, Liv. So today for my project for the Jolie November Mixed Media Kit, I am again doing a card, but this time I'm focusing more on using the embossing powder that came in this month's kit and combining it with the vellum. So as you know, and hopefully you do know, you can definitely stamp onto vellum, and embossing powder looks fantastic on it. So what I'm doing here is I'm going to go ahead and position my stamp. This is a stamp I have in my stash from Altenew. I'm going to go ahead and stamp it up with some embossing ink, and then once I do that, I always stamp probably about 2 to 3 times because I want to make sure it has good coverage. But once I've done that, then I will go ahead and put the embossing powder on. Now, I'm usually pretty generous with my embossing powder, but sometimes I do need to go in and pick up a little bit of those specks that end up coming out from it and sticking to the paper, especially when you're dealing with vellum, because I feel like the embossing powder sticks to pretty much anything that's a little bit on the oily side, and I think vellum definitely absorbs our oils from our skin a little bit more. So once I have that all set, I just clean my spot up a little bit, and then I'm going to go ahead and get out my embossing gun. So what you want to make sure is that your heat gun is already charged up, probably on the side, heated up for at least 30 seconds before you go in, and you can see what a beautiful gold color this embossing powder is. Now remember, if you did not have this kit, want to get this kit, that Black Friday sales are starting very soon, and Jolie is going to have some amazing discounts on their kits, so definitely be sure to grab them up. So what you see me doing here is flipping the paper over, and I'm going to go ahead and ink the back side on the vellum. One of the things I love about this is that it really makes the color pop on the other side. I'm just using some of my Distress Oxides here, trying to make sure I get my centers to look slightly different, and then I'm taking out a smaller brush to go ahead and get some of the green of the leaves down. So you can actually leave it just like this. I do end up mounting it onto a colored cardstock here. So you can decide whether you want it to really pop and just be a clear vellum background if you do this. Because once I flip it over, I hope you can see just how nice it looks on the other side. So what do you guys think? Isn't that so pretty? I just love the way that comes out when I do coloring on the back of vellum. So once I have that all set up, I'm going to go ahead and mount this onto a sheet. Now because it's vellum, I am using one of my long strips here, because I find that if I don't use one of my long strips, it's going to see the lines of the glue. So I have very thick double-sided adhesive tape that I use whenever I'm playing with vellum. So earlier off camera, something I had done is gone ahead and made another set, making sure I'm testing out that it worked well before I made this card. And I actually die cut out a set of flowers, and I thought it would look really cool to have both these stamped onto the vellum, as well as almost like a 3D effect of having flowers that popped up as well. So again, you're going to see me take out my double-sided tape. If you have strips like this, this works great with vellum to have long tape like this. And then I'm going to go ahead and take the flower piece that I die cut it out from another piece of vellum in this kit to do the pop-up layer. So I think the trickiest thing for me when I was doing was just figuring out exactly how I wanted to trim this flower and where I wanted it to sit. So once I figured that part out, I'm going to go ahead and actually cut off pieces of the flower and actually make like multiple little areas of the flowers that are glued down. So you see how I'm going ahead and do this here. I'm going to trim off the excess and then glue it all around the other sides. Now, if you're wondering about the color on the piece that I already die cut it out, I also did the same exact technique when I went ahead and I colored the background of it just to make some colors pop on that vellum. I initially put my sentiment down, and I realized it was kind of in my way, so I'm going to go ahead and take it off, trim down, and glue the rest of the pieces down. Now you see I did not really waste any of that flower. I tried to figure out a way to get all of it onto the page and make it look like there was flowers coming from every single angle, really creating a more 3D effect with it. You can definitely do it whatever way suits you when you're working with this project. And for the final step that I have here after I glue down this corner piece is going back to get that sentiment that I initially took off. And then I'm going to go ahead and pop it up with some foam tape so that it has actually laid a little bit. And then I'm going to take out some of my distress inks and go ahead and do a little bit of splattering here on the surface of this card. And now my card is all done. So I'm going to bring you a little bit closer so you guys can see it. I hope you enjoyed this project, and thanks for watching.